Hi everyone, I'm George Jackson, executive producer and host of GovExec TV, and today's 5 questions are with Ryan Doherty, principal in government and public sector technology consulting at EY. Ryan, welcome. Thanks for being here, sir.
Thanks so much for having me.
So EY, as a business, long-standing legacy in areas like assurance, audit, risk management. Combine that with this growing focus on information technology for me. How do those two worlds come together?
Yeah, I love this question because I think it really gets at the heart of what makes EY so unique in technology consulting. You know, you mentioned our legacy in audit and assurance and risk management. And I would almost say it's more than our legacy. It's embedded in everything we do and certainly in how we approach technology consulting. When I think about government clients and the challenges in the government and public sector space, the stakes are higher in many ways. You're talking about building systems and working with data that directly impact the lives of citizens, whether it's eligibility determination or benefits adjudication, or systems that interact with and might play a part in the lives of our military personnel or intelligence community members. And so with the stakes at that level, combined with the fact that all of these projects are funded with taxpayer dollars, you need that level of rigor, that focus on trust and risk management. And that is EY's sweet spot. That's where we love to focus.
One area across all levels of government where that trust is being keenly impacted is in the experience arena. We were talking before we went on the air that experience has broadened quite a bit over the past few years. You've got user experience, employee experience, citizen, customer experience, all kinds of experience, but those take modernization in many, many cases. How is EY working in that modernization arena? What kind of impacts are you seeing on the experience end?
Yeah, great question. So if you think about the landscape of professional services today, on the one hand, you have the traditional strategy houses who focus a lot on the upfront, foundational work, but who don't typically make the transition into design, user experience, development or implementation work. Not always, but not typically. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have your big name systems integrator providers, big IT outsourcing firms who certainly do the type of UI UX work that you're talking about, who do design and implementation, offer scale, but who don't typically do the upfront foundational work. Where EY has really worked hard is to position ourselves as that true end-to-end transformation partner. So my colleagues at EY Parthenon, as an example, we do the strategy work with our government clients. We do the governance work and the IT op model design type work. And then our tech consulting practices do the design, development, implementation, ongoing operations and maintenance, managed services. So we truly offer the full end-to-end suite of services, and I think it's one of the things that, there's not many firms that can say that, and it's something that we're pretty proud of.
You used a phrase, Ryan, before we got rolling. I want to get back to it. I wrote it down: business first, tech enabled, as a reason for why these really complicated, sophisticated efforts succeed. On the other side, why do they fail?
Yeah. So if you've been in this industry long enough, you have seen your fair share of failed technology implementations. But when you investigate the reasons why they fail, it's very rarely because of the technology, the tech. More often than not, it's inadequate organizational change management, or it's teams and people that just get so focused on the latest technology or the technical challenge in front of them that they lose sight of the business objectives that were driving the need for transformation in the first place. And so at EY, we turn that paradigm upside down. We want to know everything about your business. We want to know your industry inside and out. We want to know how your organization or agency does what it does. we want to dig into the business problem first. And from there, it's our job to help you navigate, where technology could or should play an enabling role.
EY has expertise in both the public and the private sector. How do those cross-pollinate? What does that look like in an ideal world? Because, the approach to things like low code, no code, artificial intelligence, other really highly technical, emerging IT areas, they require a certain level of here are the mission objectives. The mission objectives in public sector, private sector can be vastly different. So how's that cross-pollination look at EY?
One of the things that I really love about working at EY is we very intentionally have this deep integration between our private and public sector teams. And so I work every day with my private sector colleagues who themselves are working with companies across the US and across the world and really pushing the envelope when it comes to technology. So things like agentic AI or digital twin technology, data modernization efforts that involve knowledge graphs and vector databases to get technical, but they're really pushing that envelope. The beauty of that integration between our private and public sector teams means that we take that innovation, we combine it with our expertise in government and public sector clients, and we build solutions collaboratively that really are tailored towards the unique challenges and circumstances of government clients.
We focus mostly domestically here. You have a lot of experience in the state, local government arena as well, but let's go global for a second, Ryan. What is EY's global expertise and alliance ecosystem? Why is it important?
So we just spent a few minutes talking about the integration between our public and private sector teams. When you expand that to include our global footprint, our global member firm, and our alliance ecosystem, it just supercharges the entire thing. We spend a lot of time working with some of the leading technology providers and platforms. So for example, Microsoft, where we have our EY Grants Accelerator solution. It's built on Microsoft Dynamics and Power Platform. We work with Pega, SAP, IBM, ServiceNow, Adobe. And that is just naming a few. So it's a really powerful combination. When we combine EY's business knowledge and domain expertise with the leading technology platform providers, it's a killer combination.
Well, I feel supercharged by this conversation with Ryan Doherty, Principal in Government and Public Sector Technology Consulting at EY. Ryan, thanks so much, sir.
Thanks for the opportunity. Good to be here.
Thank you for watching. That was today's 5 questions. For GovExec TV, I'm George Jackson. Have a great day.